Green Fruit, Chapter 6. Leaning back, Moya looked through the open canopy above the bed in their cabin. Karin was reclined on his chest, reflected light from the waves of Mass Effect energy putting a blue sheen into her silver hair. Did I thank you for marrying me? Yes. Did I thank you enough for marrying me? I believe so. Wrong. I will never be able to thank you enough for marrying me. We disagree on that point. Have you thanked me for marrying you? No. He grinned at her teasing tone. What do you think? Should I change my name? You're famous and established. You can't change your name to Shepard. Professionally, that would be prudent. So I'll change mine. That is unnecessary. Wrong again. Chakwas. Can't get better. I appreciate my name, finally, for the symmetry. No. You lack a romantic soul, Karin. I shall forgive you for saying that. Neither my romance nor my soul resides in my last name, or yours. I suppose you are better at anatomy. Oh, hell, I said anatomy. Here comes more stuff you're gonna have to forgive me for. She laughed and turned to kiss him with her green eyes bright and her hair sharing its blue and silver with his hands. Moya was thrilled. It's a talking Geth! Garrus growled. It's a menace. It also probably has bad aim and was aiming for you. No, it's a talking Geth. David should have a toy. Thane said, a Geth with a rifle is not a toy, Shepard. David's been through a lot, and he should decide. Garrus paused from picking off more husks for only a brief moment. Maybe David should be in charge. Moya body-checked a husk, attempting to give him a hickey. These things are nasty. I hope they're not contagious. I should bring one home to Karin. I am certain she would be thrilled with a Geth and a husk. That's what I'm saying. My family is the best. Your family's gonna be dead. Garrus, you're bringing me down. No, the 7 husks that almost made it to you were about to bring you down. I'm the one that stopped that. Thane paused after snapping a brittle neck with a spray of foul blue resulting. I occasionally wonder if Karin Chakwas simply kisses him to keep him from speaking. Absolutely she does. Wise woman. Best woman. Ah, crap, abomination. More nasty. I don't believe all those heads are functional. Inefficient design. Starting to hope the Geth comes back. Right? When Moya carried a beat-up Geth into the medbay, Karin looked up at him in what, for her, was alarm. Her eyebrows rose fractionally. Moya's eyes searched the room for David, who wasn't paying any attention, and then he was. Interest sparking in his otherwise dull eyes. David preferred Karin's company to Moya's, which was a sign of good sense. David did not speak, and Moya didn't expect him to anytime soon. Or ever. He'd been through enough. David had stopped having to ask to make anything stop. And that's what mattered. David had spent weeks in the mid-bay under Karin's care, and then afterward preferred to spend his time with the tech in the bay, Karin saying he was making improvements. Moya tended to leave the two smartest people in the room alone, cutting down his usual chatter around David so he wasn't a source of noise that might set the boy on edge. He hopefully was delivering the right sort of chatter this time. Geth. Moya smiled lopsidedly at her. Present for David. She spared a look at the Geth and then looked back at him. I didn't put that hole there. Her eyebrows stayed raised. He's apparently very valuable, so Cerberus says. A talking Geth. He raised his voice, not high enough to upset David, just high enough so any listening devices could pick up his further emphatic repetition of Cerberus can go screw themselves. A talking Geth? Said my name and everything. Well, my title and my name. Shepard, Commander. In English? In something translatable into English. Could have shot at me. Instead, shot at something aiming for me. Wouldn't it be better in engineering? Only if David's there. You are hoping they could speak to each other? Yes. David stood up and was peering from a distance. They all seemed to feel some hope that maybe the thing wouldn't murder them all. Karin raised up on tiptoe and kissed Moy's cheek. Put it down. You're bleeding. A great deal. Not my blood. Cherie, you were out with Garrus and Thane. Garrus has blue blood. Thane has green blood. You were fighting Reapers. That blood is yours. You are so smart. I love you. Put it down. Moya set the Geth carefully on a bed. Not one close to David, but one close enough for him to approach, giving David a smile and then backing away. Sitting down on the edge of the bed where he could watch and where Karin could start addressing all the blood that was, in fact, his blood. Bite marks? The husks were hungry. Moya smiled as Karin made everything better. David approached the Geth slowly, his fingertips reaching for the gaping hole through the chest of the Geth. David then looked at Moya, who repeated, I didn't do that. Adrenaline and pain were slowly replaced with metagel, river voice, her hands, and his curiosity as he watched David with more animation than he'd seen. David's hands became less exploratory and more purposeful, and Moya watched, fascinated, then somewhat terrified. Think he can turn that thing on? Of course. Really? Of course. Isn't that what you intended? I thought maybe just getting acquainted. Her hand stilled only briefly on a burn across his waist. So you thought that you'd present David with a deactivated Geth, and the Geth would stay that way? Maybe. Yes? The same David that is more acquainted with Geth language, logic, and mechanics than any other organic creature? Maybe still, yes? Cherie, you are absolutely charming, and occasionally... Yeah, you don't have to say it. No, I do not. We either die or we do not. Sorry? Moya considered getting down and stopping David, but that would undo every last bit of calming, intent, and rapport he'd attempted to build. She was right. We either die or we do not, and as he watched, David's hands shifted in complicated adjustments, the unfamiliar whine of Geth mechanics booting and warming up, filling the air. Karin calmly raised her head to watch. The Geth sat up slowly, David's face showing excitement. He definitely takes after you. David turned to look at her and she smiled at him. He smiled back. Maybe I should give him the ship. Perhaps you just did. He likes you. You're safe. David chittered something and the Geth responded. Moya thought maybe they were going to die, but this was so cool. And his hand moved to grasp Karin's, who held on. The Geth's head turned to look at Moya, then back at David, then back at Moya. Shepard, Commander. Moya smiled and squeezed her hand. See? Told you. Knew my name. I did not doubt you. The Geth said, He says his name is David Chakwas and that I am not to harm anyone. Moya grinned. Well, he's in charge.